have the superstar from Snow Patrol, the drummer from Snow Patrol, and he's family as well. He's my wee wife's first cousin, Deborah's first cousin, and I'm going to introduce Jonny Quinn onto the show. Jonny, welcome onto the show, all the way from London.
Hi there. Hi,
you can hear us, Jonny.
Hi,
Good to see you. Here,
Hi.
What happened to your head? Hey, the Jonny Quinn I knew had more hair than that. What happened?
Yeah, it had to happen. I actually got my son to do it. So he's only 7, and first time he's ever used a electric razor. So
very good. All right. Well, listen, it's great to have you on the show. You know, you heard the song there from young Connor. Well, you heard it before. We sent you the demo tape, and you liked it. And thanks very much for helping to organise him for the trip down to the OEI and see if we can help him develop his career. But Polar Publishing Company have signed an exciting person, JC Stewart, all the way from Maharafelt, and I hear he's doing very well.
Yeah, he's doing great. He signed a deal with Warner's there a year ago, and he's been writing with. He's had a couple of songs with Lewis Capaldi, done really well in his own career. He's just been playlisted Radio 1, and then he was part of the Radio 1 Big Weekender, which didn't happen here. So he ended up doing a sort of from his back garden, his mum and dad's. He set up a gig, and just him. But he had a lot of these mops and brim pulls where he had these famous people on who were all playing, like Niall Horan and stuff like that. Had them in the audience. So it's people they're getting engineers. That's about it, you know, and making sure that they can have some content.
All right. Didn't know about JC Stewart. Glad to hear about that. Is he? What age is JC Stewart, Jonny?
Yeah, he's only 21.
Okay, so he's a young another up and coming star. We do produce him, don't we?
What was the story about the Friends thing? Where he rewrote the.
There was something about Friends. I heard he rewrote the lyrics of Friends. He changed the words.
He did. He changed it to a lockdown version of theme tune Friends. I'll be there for you. And Jennifer Aniston, she ended up Instagramming his video, which had a few followers. So he actually one of the people in his back garden was Jennifer Aniston on a mop. So so you know, there's lots of good stuff that's been happening for him right now. Very exciting.
We'll talk about Jennifer Aniston later on because we know a few stories as well, and so do you. But Snow Patrol, what's been happening during the lockdown?
Well, we were meant to do about 20 festivals this summer throughout the UK, Ireland, Europe. Obviously, were cancelled. And thankfully, most of them are going to be rebooked for next year. So all the touring that we were going to do, we're going to do an acoustic tour in September, October. That's all going to be moved to next year. And in the meantime, Gary's been doing a lot of songwriter nights. And what he's been doing is asking a lot of the fans to write the lyrics. So the lyrics will pop up on the screen, he's grabbing them and he's asking for chords, and then he goes away for half an hour, comes back, and there's a song. So what's happened is we've been individually, all the band members have been doing their parts, Scotland, Northern Ireland, London, LA, and putting it all together. Yeah. So we'll have the out, which will be also, the artwork is also to be made by the fans as well. So it's a collaboration that'll be out at the end of this month as a 5-track EP.
Very good. And what about the social distancing and how many people can you have at these gigs? Because I don't know the answer. They're asking me about football and are we going to see fans back at the stadium? When's it going to happen? Do you know anything that we don't know?
Well, I know Melvin Ben, who runs the Reading Leagues Festival and Latitude, he's come up with an idea that everyone will use the NHS app, and once you find out that you don't have COVID, then you'll present that and be admitted to the festival. Because you know what he's saying is we can't run a festival with 2 meter distances. You can't have 60,000 people. You know, you don't have the space for them to be 2 meters apart. It just doesn't work. A bit like football as well. You know, it just seems hard to fathom how big events like that would.
That might work well, Jonny, with football as well. That could actually work well for football and other things because, you know, I was chatting to my partner Lawrence about Drivein gigs, and for concerts and stuff like that, because they're doing drive-in for cinema. And do you think that's a possibility for for concerts? You could have a drive-in concert?
Yeah, there's a few people doing it already at the moment. I mean, I don't know how good that is. I mean, it might be something just in the meantime until we have actual gigs. But I think there's going to be a few more of those pop up this year, because everyone thought they were going to start in September, October. But I think it's clear that there's not going to be anything happening for quite a while. So the drive-in gig, yeah, they're going to pop up a lot between now and like next summer.
Yeah. But here, tell me about, I've heard the story about Gerry, and fans are choosing like A, B or C with regards to music and lyrics. How's that going? Because he seems to be like knocking out a song in record time. And can you enlighten me a bit more on that?
Yeah, they're just throwing in real time, like we are here. The lyrics will pop up on the screen and he's grabbing them. He doesn't even know who it is really. Right. He's just writing these down and the chords, and then in half an hour, so the pressure's on, and the results have been really good actually. He wasn't sure going into it how it would work, but there's been some great songs come out of it. And he was actually he's been on with Chris Evans there recently. They've been playing, doing an interview about it all, playing the songs. So we've had our friend Ian Archer has been mixing it, recording it. So
very good. I'm going to ask you a question, and it's very relevant because I want to know how the Snow Patrol hot sauce is doing. I know it's for charity and the rest, but how's that going? Because we have a story to ask you about the hot sauce, because I was there that night that your friend from Australia decided he would try it, and it did say on the label, beware, this is really hot, and you have been warned. Isn't that right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think the best footage is Gerry, who he just doesn't. I mean, he thinks the HP sauce is pretty spicy. He thinks that's level. So he was going to go on to get a Sunday brunch where it's an interview and their cooking program. And I thought, this is great. We'll put the sauce on that. And I said, Gerry, you don't have to try it. It's fine. Just. We'll put it on. It's a good way to get some publicity. And I'm sitting home watching it, and I'm seeing him go, I'll just try a bit. And this is the hottest one we have. It's called Disaster. This is a million on the Scoville scale. It's crazy hot chilies. And I'm watching him. Somebody's got what's going on? Like somebody needs to stop this. And it is brilliant TV because he's just under the counter. I mean, he's just in real bother. Check that out. I mean, it is one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. Poor fella, like I did feel for him. He had to sort of continue while this burning sensation was just getting hotter and hotter. But yeah, we hooked up with a Belfast company called Rockadoodle Doo, and Dave makes amazing sauces, and he doesn't put any additives in it, so it's lots of heat but lots of flavour. I've got a couple of here, which I'll show up the screen. So don't know if that's working there with the background. We named them after Snow Patrol song, and actually one of them, the Don't Give In, won a Great Taste Award, 2 Gold Star, which we were very happy about. My favourite plaques that I have on the wall, actually. And yeah, we've been selling that, and it's all the money goes to Music for All charity, which is a great charity that's providing music lessons and instruments for folk that just can't afford it. And also schools at the moment with all the cutbacks, they're asking for instruments and music teachers. So these charities are really important at the moment. And also when they buy the instruments, they buy it from actual music shops, not on Amazon. So has to be bought by a bricks and mortar music company. So that's supporting that as well. So it's just been good fun doing this.
I've got to ask you, what's your favourite moment on stage? What is your favourite moment?
I think it's just before we go on. It's that when we play the track, and it's that excitement, which I think every gig we just don't know whether it's going to work or not. There's always this bit of a fear that everything could just fall flat on its face, and everything's going to break and we're going to look stupid, and no, you know, people aren't going to like it. I don't know. There's that expectation, you know, that's the buzz.
Is it because of live shows? I mean, I when I do television, I like doing live shows rather than recorded ones. But the live show, there's unexpectedness to it, and I think maybe that's the excitement comes in. But you know, your wee cousin Deborah's here beside me, and would you come over and say hello to your cousin Jonny, please? Say hello to Jonny.
Hi, Jonny.
Jonny, can you tell me any stories about my wee wife? Because she's so nice over the last 17 years. Is there any stories I don't know about her?
Oh dear.
Put you on the spot.
That really is. Now your brother is here, so he can tell a lot more than what you could probably.
Or he would know, actually, he'd know more of the stories. He's got a lot of them.
Oh, he does. He's still looking his birthday present back.
But Jonny, the other thing I was going to say to you is, tell me about the funny moments for Gerry on stage. I mean, how many times has he fallen off the stage?
Yeah, well, he did a cracker. Our first big gig was supporting the Levellers in Dublin, and the stage was at an angle, and so he was so excited and he started jumping up and down. Every time he jumped, he sort of moved forward without realising, and he fell off the stage, and all the fans were clapping at the front, but they thought he'd meant it, and then he managed to fall downstairs as well. So it was like the stairs are up on the stage. So, and then I realised when he came up to the stage, he just said, "I think I've broken my leg," and I just he didn't mean it. And right enough, his legs swelled up like a watermelon, and he had to sort of have his foot up for the rest of the tour. But he's done a few classics like that over the years. Lucky to be alive.
Some great stories we have as a family. And
Bradley's asking one. Let me tell this one.
Then.
He said, "What about the cheese board on stage?"
What's that mean? The cheese board on stage?
Oh yeah, well, we did a rework tour, and it's quite a long gig, and there's a lot of times that I'm not playing drums as well. There's quite a lot of string moments, quiet moments, and I just me and my percussionist friend decided we'd have a bit of cheese while we're waiting behind the drum set, so we'd have a bit of cheese and wine.
Well, I was going to say, you can't have cheese without having the wine. You have to go hand in hand, don't they? You know. Well, there's one story I want to ask you as well, because I remember I was working at Sky and you'd invited us for a Halloween birthday party, or whatever it was, and you'd invited a lot of guests, and I could come for part of the show, and then I had to go off to do the Spanish football, and I came back later on. But before we went, you phoned Johnny McDaid in LA, and of course he was dating Courtney Cox at the time, and you flicked up on the computer and they come on, and Johnny was saying, "Oh, I said the weather's fantastic here in LA, and I'm with Courtney," and Courtney was saying, "Hi everybody in London," and you know, she was chatting away, and then who was it brought the coffee over to him? Do you remember?
Coffee?
Yeah, a cup of coffee. He was getting a cup of coffee, so somebody brought it over to him.
Oh, it's Jennifer Aniston, was it?
It was Jennifer Aniston. It was Jennifer Aniston, and I thought, he's just showing off, isn't he? You know, he's got Courtney Cox on one side and Jennifer Aniston, but I'm lucky I've got my wee wife. You know, but you know, he had one on one side, one on the other. It was a classic moment. You know, I have to say, things like that are hilarious for me, and you see in the showbiz, and it's like, you know, she was backstage for the gig at in Bangor at Ward Park. And we got chatting to her then. She was over. I think they had just come back off a long tour, and we were pretty tired. And there was a few people not well. I think we just suffering from sore throats and probably jet lag. But we got to meet Courtney then as well at the gig. And then you brought on the special surprise, which was at the very end of the show. And Bono came on. Mm-hmm. Great memories.
That's right. Well, it was a surprise for us as well, because he was kind of like, well, I don't know if I'll make it. Like right the way up to, we didn't know he would have to turn up, so I kept on looking as the song, we're in the verse of one, and I keep looking over going, maybe he's not turned up, and then of course he just walks on right on cue for the chorus. But yeah, great moment for us, and we've done a lot of touring with those guys, so yeah.
Well, over the last 17 years that I've known you, and obviously I've known Deborah and Bradley and the family, I've watched you develop as a band and go through all the hardships for several years until you actually make it to the top. And there's a lot of fun journeys on the way, and obviously there's some great stories. And one of them is when we reenacted the 1982 World Cup down in Tralee. Dingle. It was on the front of the lawn of the hotel,
right.
and Gerry played Billy Hamilton down the right and crossed the ball in, and I stuck it in. Tommy was in goal, the keyboard player, and I stuck it the ball in the back of the net. I mean, we had some great fun doing the shows like that.
How did we get a football at a wedding? How did that?
I know.
There was kids were playing with hurley sticks and stuff, knocking the ball about, and I think I picked up a hurling stick and whacked a few balls, and then somebody threw a football in. And Gerry said, let's do the World Cup goal. I'll be Billy Hamilton. And he said, you can be you. I said, oh, thanks very much, So, but we had lots of fun and lots of journeys. But one of them I must talk to you about is Aunt Pat. She is such a character because she was at the wedding. That night? She did. She sang that night, and she did the time walk, didn't she? Mm-hmm. And she was great character. But you've got lots of stories with Aunt Pat.
Yeah, well, I remember the band that I had play the Time Warp, and they said to her, "Do you want to do rehearsals?" She says, "No, I've been singing this for 30 years, darling. Leave over." And he comes to all our gigs, and I always see her in the audience because she's always the most demonstrative person in the audience. I can see her at the O2 out of 20,000 people. And she's always comes along, great supporter.
We were there. I remember there. London, she was wearing a jumpsuit. Was it an orange jumpsuit? It was like a jumpsuit. She was wearing like an orange jumpsuit, and she was there with was it Toby Stevens was there as well?
Or was it?
That's right.
Quinn as well.
And Quinn. Yeah, there was. I mean, there's a lot of the family tree and obviously the connection there with acting and herself. She was an actress, wasn't she?
That's right, yeah. So she started there was a stage show of the Rocky Horror, but also a lot of British TV series. And then, obviously was in the movie, and she, that's been, that's become the most played movie in theatres, I think, because it's on every week. And we put together, back about when I was 21, we put together a Rocky Horror Night in Belfast. And the head of the Rocky Horror, it's called Lip Service, the head of the Rocky Horror Belfast club, and he's a policeman. And when I met him, he was in his police gear, 6'5", and then the next time I saw him, he was in his fishnets and high heels. And we got a band together, and we did all the songs. Everyone turned up, dressed up. Brilliant night.
Oh, fantastic. Can you tell me some other stories about, I know you've told me stories about the people you've met when you've been on tour, Will Smith, coming into the gigs and stuff. I mean, that was quite a special moment for you.
Yeah, well, somebody Elton John, we met him he asked us to come along to his 60th birthday, which was the 60th time he played Madison Square Garden. And wow. And it was amazing to get to go there. And then when we met him, it's amazing the amount of sort of new artists that he's into, and every week he buys, 10 records of each band that he likes, and he puts them all over around his houses. But he's really into new music, and he was chatting about a record, and then he said, "Oh, someone came along and said, you got to go." And literally he went straight to stage. Normally we have to have 40 minutes just to get a sort of head together for the gig, but he just walked literally chatting to us straight on the piano. And of course you worked with him for a long time, been in his house.
Yeah. No, he's a character. I'm going to be talking to John Barnes about him later on tonight. He's on, we've got Brona Gallagher coming on after you, Johnny, and then we've got John Barnes on after Brona. But I'll be talking about Elton. Some of the stories I can tell you about Elton going to his house and his own private record collection. Oh, it's fantastic, and he's a fantastic guy. What he's done for music and what he's done for football, and particularly for Watford Football Club, is superb, I have to say. But okay, more stories. Can you tell me something that we don't know? Tell me something that we don't know, that we weren't there, and our listeners are listening and the viewers are wanting to find out something that it's going to be exciting, that they have to, somebody big.
Something you don't know.
Put him on the spot.
Put you on the spot, yeah, big time.
That's hard. I'll have to come back to that one.
All right, well, look, I'll take you to, you know, you end up being a support band for U2. Right? Was that in America?
Yes. Yeah, we played 2 tours with them. Yeah, we all over the world actually, and it was really good because for us to play that size of gig was the first time that we kind of understood about playing large audiences. And they've been amazing. They invite us to their after school parties, which always an interesting guest list. And yeah, it's amazing that those guys have been doing stadiums since the 80s. To come from Ireland and to be that size, there's very few bands that have ever done that, and they haven't ever stopped playing stadiums. And they're always making it fresh. Every record is thought about in a new way. Every stage set that they do is completely different than the last one. We were on the 360 tour, which was in the round, this mad sort of spaceship that they created, and they had to build 2 of them. And, the logistics of it is insane, and their crew, a lot of them been working there for 25 years, same people. Yeah, their setup it's spectacular. But the tour manager would tell us about them in the 80s, going through America with. Back in the day, when there was no mobile phones, it was a bag of change, and he was going in the phone boxes, and they'd been lost, knocking on people's doors, because they were stuck in the snow, and they've really done the grind. And yeah, it's been one of those things that has taught us to be a better band at bigger venues.
Yeah.
Jonny, tell the story about whenever you finally made it with the album Final Straw.
Yeah, that was kind of our when we moved from being on an indie record label to major, and we'd written and run, and that was when that played in Radio 1, that became a hit for us. So everything changed. Suddenly we were playing 150 people up to playing a couple of thousand, and we played Glastonbury that year, and we had a huge crowd, which we never expected. The first time we had a huge crowd singing the words back, and it never really stopped from then on. The whole, from then on to Eyes Open, the whole thing just was a wild ride, and it got us around the world with that one song, really. Chasing Cars and just up to another level.
And is it a roller coaster right after that? Because once you get the success from one song, does that lead to the next one and the next one?
Generally, yeah. If you can have a hit, it's certainly you need to follow it up. But the record, we got a lot of play on the record, and it was a time we were probably one of the last bands that were actually selling CDs. Us Arctic Monkeys at that stage, and there was no Spotify, there was no streaming at this stage. People were actually still buying CDs. So I think after that, then downloads happened. iTunes became the thing that that's how people got their music before streaming. So it was a good time, and I think it's a lot harder now because there's so much new music released every week. Tens of thousands of songs every week, and so there's a lot of noise. So it's back then I think it was a bit easier in terms of being a band because there's a lot of pop music on the radio at the moment. So I'm glad that we kind of started at that stage.
I remember you telling me once that you were hoping Gary was going to meet somebody, and then she would break his heart so he could write some really good songs.
Yeah, I think falling in love and breaking up are the two things that definitely he's been able to get some of the best songs out of. Yeah.
No, that's what you do need, inspiration. It's all about content. Who was the young lad that you brought along and he went on to become a superstar, and he was your backup when you went on tour in America?
That's right. Yeah, so Ed was, you know, he was doing pretty well when we met him, but we asked him to come to America, and that was incredible. I mean, to have a support act that kind of, he was using Twitter at the time when it was kind of early days, and he was tweeting to his fans. They'd all turn up. The gigs would be sold out, but his fans would like turn up and wait outside for him, like hundreds and hundreds, and they had to call security all the time because he was getting crushed. So he talked to every one of them. He'd sign everything, but they were literally, even though they didn't get a ticket for the gig, the screams that were happening when he was on support was incredible. He just knew that something really special was happening. There's something that was going to be really huge. I don't think anybody knew he would be as huge as he's been, but you could tell that it was definitely going to be, you know, that he was going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, I was talking a lot to Steve Strange, our friend and your friend. Obviously, he's the booking agent and promotes, I don't know, over 500 bands he's done in his career. But Steve always said Jonny Quinn, he's smart cookie. You know, he knew that these guys could write songs, and Johnny signed them up. And, you know, he's told me about a lot of people that we didn't realise that you'd actually signed up to actually write songs.
Yeah. Johnny McLean, who ended up writing a lot of songs for Ed Sheeran, signed up and written a lot of songs for various people and with us in Snow Patrol as well. You know, Johnny's, he's a huge songwriter at the moment, and he's written, he's probably, I think he's writing with Ed at the moment, so yeah, he's doing really well. Another Northern Irish.
A couple of questions coming in.
There's
Johnny,
questions coming in
there's
here.
some questions. Amy's gonna.
Amy, you want to tell us what the questions are?
I'm trying to say. There was a question asking about a monkey suit.
A monkey
at
suit
one of the concerts.
at one of the concerts? Is that one of the band was wearing a monkey suit, or?
I don't know, it's just nice. What about the monkey suit?
What about the monkey suit?
Right.
And then there's just generally.
They're asking
Monkey
about
suit.
Ward Park. A lot of people's
Yeah.
coming in asking about, is there going to be a Ward Park 4?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, that's why I've got this in the background, because it was this time last year that Ward Park happened, and it's, you know, it's definitely something that, you know, the last Ward Park was a bit scary because everybody said, well, it's going to be really hard to sell that many tickets, and it was quite frightening. A lot of people actually told us we shouldn't do it. But I think it's become such a sort of moment in the calendar whenever we put it on sale. And this time we were able to have all Northern Irish act. Everyone's from Northern Ireland, every act. So yeah, I think we definitely will, but it'll probably be a couple of years away.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about another park. What about Windsor Park? When do you think we can do that one?
Yeah. I do think that was. Excuse me, that was your idea, Gerry. And I think nobody's ever played it, which seems crazy.
I know Gary wants to be the first band to do it.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, we have to make that work. So we are working on that. We went down to see the stadium. It looks incredible. Be perfect for it.
Yeah, and we had Steve down as well. He was down after you.
Yeah, so there's only been boxing there. That's the only other event that's happened.
Yeah. Well, we're looking at next year, obviously, but it depends what happens after the pandemic in terms of capacity. And, you know, we feel we could get more than the 18,000, which is all seated. We can get them on the pitch as well, but that depends on what the allowances are in terms of how many people will be allowed to go into a stadium like that then. And it's a question of dates, because obviously there's football calendar at Windsor Park and the dates aren't always readily. So we're looking to get the dates off the Irish FA, and we'll have a meeting in the next 2 or 3 weeks when we get this all over, hopefully the pandemic and everybody's safe and well. We can then meet up and arrange to chat with the Irish FA and see if we can get something together with yourselves, Johnny. But we've also spoken to the Kingspan, the Ulster Rugby. We've spoken there with Brent Cunningham and the people there, and they would be keen to have Snow Patrol doing a concert there as well. So that's another one.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try and make that happen.
Yeah. All good. Okay. Deborah, any more questions for Amy?
There's just one. And so it's from Jim Hall. It says, when is Gary coming home like Gerry?
Oh. Did you hear that, Johnny?
When's Gary coming home like Gerry?
When's Gary coming home like Gerry?
Like
Yeah.
Gerry, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know he's in
Who
LA,
knows?
isn't he?
He's in LA for, I don't know. Who knows how long it'll be before we're open again? But I'm sure he's going to come straight back.
Listen, I met him before. Obviously, the lockdown started. I was down at his place, and I was there, and it was incredible because Lawrence was with me, and we were going to chat with him, and Davey was with him, Davey Matchett, and the pheasant came out, and it was incredible. I've never seen anything like it. The pheasant sat down on the grass. The pheasant sat beside us, sat there for ages. I mean, you know the story about the pheasant. It was unbelievable. You have to actually see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And it was there for like half an hour. And then they took off. And then we had a meeting with Paul, came out, and it must have been another half an hour later, got into the car to drive out, and the pheasant ran alongside the car as if it was following us all the way out of his place. It was crazy. But an unbelievable moment. Yeah. I was just shocked because normally those animals are very... they're very shy and frightened of human beings.
Yeah.
Must be a song in that.
There must be a song in that.
All right, Johnny, listen, I have to say thank you so much for coming on the show. And love to Marianne and Thor.
Yes.
And we'll catch up with you, mate, when this is all done. And
yeah,
your wee bro's in the back down there.
He's
just sitting chilled out. He's down the back. He's not.
Say hello.
You know, hello. Say hello to your brother.
Hold on, I'm going to get him to say hello. Come here, Brad.
Hey, bro.
Hello, Brad.
Keep the distance in here.
Hello, Brad. There he is.
Keep it well. Cheers.
See your wee brother?
You got Bruno. You got Bruno as well.
Yes, Bruno's coming on next.
Yeah. Right. So we've got Bruno coming on next, and she's a funny girl, so we'll look forward to hearing from her. But Johnny, thanks again. Pleasure having you on the show, and when we'll meet up again sometime, but when it's all over, when this is all done and dusted. Cheers, Johnny.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Johnny's gone now, and I'm looking forward to speaking to our next guest, and that's Brona Gallagher. She's a fantastic